Great. So you're a web designer and you're probably searching on YouTube. How do I get more clients? Just shut off your brain for a second. Just watch this video. And the only way this is going to go wrong is if you don't take action on what I'm telling you right now and you overthink what I'm about to say. Okay. For the sake of credibility, right here, we're doing 40,000 in monthly recurring revenue. What do? All I do is just help web designers book and close meetings. That is all I do. I make 40,000 a month helping other people do that, which is mean people are making even more than that if they're paying for it. Here's an example of one of my clients booking 69 appointments in the last 30 days from 377 leads. And here's a script that I'm going to walk you through that literally just read this word for word. I'm going to show you how to get the leads. And if you're not closing deals, it's probably because you didn't call anyone. All right. Speaking of calling people, let me show you how this works. You may want to reach out to different types of businesses. You may already know what works best for you. And to keep it really simple, what's going to work best is what do you understand? Okay. So if you already have sold to people before, great. Focus on what is already working. Start there. If you have no idea what you're doing at all, and you've never sold to anybody, then I recommend just type in some sort of home services, plumbers, roofers. That's really what I recommend. And then let's say I type in plumbers, Florida. And what this is going to do, this is TaskBlinkDemo.com, and this is completely free. And all it's going to do is it's going to scrape Google Business, but it's going to make it really easy for you to find businesses that have problems associated with their website. So if I click Find Website Weak Spots, it's going to start auditing websites and it's going to start finding problems with websites. I also can click See If Textable, and it will actually tell me what kind of phone number this is. That way you're not wasting tons of freaking time. That's actually a lot of mobiles right there. This is a landline example right here. Another mobile, another landline. And so basically, imagine if you're able to actually see what type of phone number. This is a voice over internet phone, so it's an internet phone number. If you're able to see in advance that this phone number is associated with a decision maker, and you're able to, an iPhone or Android, and you're able to see in advance that they have problems associated with their website, then you could just call them. For example, weak call to action, click on the site. What am I even looking at? This is terrible. I'm sure you could do better with AI in 60 seconds, right? You call them and you tell them, hey, here's what's wrong with your website, right? So again, and all of the problems are going to be listed right here. Stale copyright. Stale copyright means their site hasn't been updated in 3 years or more. And this site failed to load. The Google business is unclaimed. Outdated HTML, weak call to action, generic stock copy, right? This is ass, this is terrible. And here's some more examples here where you can see across the board, just like another mobile line. And what you're able to do is you're actually able to just filter these down to, for example, just the ones that have website issues. Let me show you some more here. So this is plumbers in Kentucky. You can also see businesses that don't have a website as well. So just a recap of where we're at right now. On the internet, there's this free website called TaskBlinkDemo.com. Costs you nothing, not a scam. You do exactly what I'm showing you on the screen. What kind of business do you want to reach out to? If you don't know, just try home services. If you already are selling to people successfully, why the heck would you do anything else? Seriously, tell them, hey, I've already made websites just like yours, whatever, right? Or better than your website. Here's what it looks like, right? Do that. There's so many of every industry. If you're unsure about, even on this website, you can see total addressable market, TAM. If you want to see, oh, how many plumbers are there? There's 85,000, okay? If you're having success with anything, just keep doing that, okay? You can be extremely targeted, so just do that. And yeah, so just to recap, you literally just type in what you're looking for, where they're located. You click Find Website Weak Spots, confirm has website issues. And then you're able to just see what type of phone number it is. So you want mobile numbers. That way, if the phone number listed on the Google Business is an iPhone or Android, that's probably the business owner. So then you just call that number, which is right here. You can click on the image and actually see these Google Business profiles. The phone number will always be there. And you just call it. And literally, when they answer the phone, it's going to be the business owner every single time. You're not calling people that have perfect websites. They have problems. And then, oh, okay, what's the next problem? Oh, what do I say on the phone, right? Here this is. This is going to be in the description of the video, right? And I'm gonna walk you through it right now. It's some pro training, okay? Really simple how this works, okay? hey, I'm calling about, let's see the name of the business here. Let me pull up an example. Groves Electric, okay? Or actually, let's do a different one. Let's say it is this joining American builders, or let's say Burningham Construction. I don't know why I'm changing my mind. Burningham Construction, pretty weak call to action. How am I going to book an appointment with these people? Got it. And the problem with Burningham Construction is I'm going to click right here just to confirm their problem. Outdated HTML, weak call to action. So this is already built into the script for outdated HTML and weak call to action. And so it goes, hey, I'm calling about Burningham Construction. And they're going to say yes, because that's who they are. Yeah, this is Kyle with TaskBlink. I just was looking over your website and I noticed there's no real call to action or some sort of book now button. I could easily add one that turns lookers into actual leads and calls. And if I could fix this for you and get more people calling your business, would you be able to handle the extra calls and additional workload? Oh, you could. Like that. But of course, now the answer is yes. Okay, real quick, and how are most of your jobs coming in right now? Word of mouth or actually off the internet? Now you can keep in mind, almost everybody's going to say word of mouth. Yeah, that's what most construction companies I speak with say. And word of mouth is the best lead that there is. Well, the only catch is you can't turn that up when things are slowing down. And it does nothing for the folks that are Googling construction companies in Tampa right now, who's never heard of your name. And that's the exact gap that I closed. More of those searches turning into calls to you, that's exactly what I could show to you. And now that basically, if somebody says that they already are getting leads online, it's cool. So you already know it works. I just plug the leads so more of it turns into calls. And then ultimately from there, you're saying, I can share my screen and show you exactly how I'd set this up for you and why it works so well for construction companies. Do you have 10 minutes later today to hop on a quick call? And that is basically the whole approach. In a nutshell, when you say, hey, I'm calling about business name, right? They're going to say, yes, that's me. And you might say, hey, I noticed you don't have a website yet. And I get construction companies just like you booking more jobs straight off of Google. If I could fix that for you and get more people calling your business, would you be able to handle those extra calls and that additional workload? Now, again, the answer is also going to be yes. And if it's not, just, okay, they can't use your services and you just get off the phone, right? And the whole point of this is if they answer this question, you're in a good spot. You now have their time. How are most of your jobs coming in right now? And you're establishing pain, right? Because here's the problem, right? Some people are like, oh, when I call, they're like, oh, I just have word of mouth or I just have referrals, blah, blah, everything's great, right? How predictable is that word of mouth? How predictable are those referrals? They're not. And that is basically what we're going to try and articulate. Yeah, most of the construction companies I talk to are relying on word of mouth, and it's the best lead that there is. But you can't turn that up when things slow down, and it's not predictable and reliable. And it really does nothing for the people that are searching in Tampa right now for construction companies who've never heard your name at this moment. And that's exactly what I fix. More of those searches turning into calls for you, and that's exactly what I'd show you. I can share my screen and show you exactly how I set this up for you and why it works so well for construction companies. Do you have 10 minutes later today on a quick call and I can show this to you? That is how this works, right? And here's the key here. Just be confident. Be confident, right? And oh, notice how I said absolutely nothing about it being pretty. These sites look like dog shit, right? But that doesn't even matter, right? If these terrible sites were able to produce them income, they wouldn't care. Nobody would care. Nobody started a website to be the prettiest business. No, that's not what we're doing here. Nobody cares about that. You probably do make nice websites. Really, nobody cares. The only thing that matters is, can you make them money? You are trying to collect money from somebody and they're a business. And if you can't justify why that makes them more money, they're not going to be interested. So you don't need to talk about that at all. We just lead with a problem that we know about already, whether if they don't have a website or they have a problem with their website. And we are just simply telling them, hey, this problem, I could fix it. I get you more jobs, right? That's really all there is to this. And if you can successfully get that point across and they feel like just that it's worth the time, because the only thing you're actually trying to do is sell the call. Just sell the call. And selling the call is just articulating that it's worth their time. If someone feels like it's worth 10 minutes of their time to continue this conversation, then they will. And then once you have them on a call, they're in an environment where you are basically They can't say, oh, I'm busy, I have to go because they've scheduled this call with you. And now you're able to actually pitch to them. And the whole concept stays the same, right? That you're going to be able to generate them more leads with this website that's going to be able to generate them more income. And yeah, a lot of these people, like a roofing company, just one lead would pay for the whole thing. Yes, that's the whole point, right? If I could even bring you just a few more leads a month, that could pay for this whole website. Does that make sense? In general, just need to get the point across that they can actually make a return using your services. And if you are watching this and you're feeling like unconfident that you're actually able to deliver these results, and how am I going to say this confidently when I don't even know if I'm actually going to be able to deliver this result, just refund them. Just give them their money back if you're not completely satisfying them. And if they're concerned, like, if you're going to bring them these more leads, right? And those leads are, of course, I'm going to close those deals. If I have people calling me, I'll close the deals, right? That's what they'll tell you, right? Then why wouldn't they pay you if you, for example, guaranteed that they're going to get more traffic to their site? Throw it out there, right? Why wouldn't they? And then if your concern is, what if I do this and it doesn't work? Why don't you just guarantee that they're going to get more traffic to their website, that they're going to get more calls, and that they're going to be happy, right? If you think about it, if you can guarantee the minimum result that would make somebody happy, right? Or even just declare that if you are unsatisfied by any means whatsoever, then you do not have to pay, right? And you could pay 50% now and 50% when we're done, right? Or you could even make the whole website for free, right? Or I don't know. At the end of the day, a lot of people just need to get over that mental hump of just closing their first deal from a freaking cold call, from somebody off of the internet. Once you get over that hump, you'll realize that, oh, I did this once. That means I could do this twice. And if you could do it twice, why couldn't you do this 10 times? If you do it 10 times, why can't you do it 1,000 times? If you're able to do it 1,000 times, why can't you show somebody else how to do these calls? If you can show somebody else how to do these calls, then somebody else is doing those calls and you're just making the websites. Oh, but you have AI making the websites. Oh, now you're running a whole business here. Okay. This can turn into something very special. And ultimately, again, these are some examples of results that you can get by doing this, where you could just be booking appointments on autopilot. And part of what we do as well is, imagine if you didn't have to make these calls. Now, if you've never done this before, you need to do this first. I promise I recommend this. But I will note that when you're actually, let's say, instead of doing these cold calls, imagine if you were sending texts and emails and only calling the people who were interested. So that's part of the services that we offer. In this example, would you be interested in adding a website built just for fence contractors that actually brings in consistent inquiries? They didn't reply, system follows up. Would it be okay if I sent over a quick demo video of how the system works? They say, yes, please, sends them a video. And just by them saying yes, now we're calling. The system, you're not calling them, you're hopping on the phone, and you're booking an appointment, right? So what we're doing is we're calling people completely cold, right? Is what you're doing on TaskBlinkDemo. This is an easy way to get clients and cost you nothing at all. Now you can even upgrade the system and send mass messages that are completely personalized based off the problem that they're having with their website. And then the people who are interested, you could then just call the people that are interested, as an example, and get them booked into your calendar. Okay. And yeah, and that's basically TaskBlink, like completing a task in the blink of an eye. And yeah, so basically TaskBlinkDemo, think about it like this. Like, what's the catch? Why is this completely free? This is free for those that have yet to do this. This is to make your life super, super easy. So you can rip these cold calls, get your first deals. And then at any time you can, of course, get more credits, right? Very cool. And instead of generating 12 results at a time, you can actually generate thousands of results at a time. And you can actually download a CSV and make a nice little clean list to cold call off of. That's cool, right? So it's like stepping stones. And then if you want to automate it even further, that's TaskBlink, and that is what we do in a nutshell. And if you get value from this video, I would assume that maybe some of this value would come back to me. But nonetheless, what I'd like to do is provide value that I wish that others would provide to me. And that's the purpose of this video. So if you're a web designer, let me recap right here. If you just watched this video and you're still watching right now, and you don't go to taskblinkdemo.com and try this out, and here's what you're probably going to happen. You're going to come to the site, you're going to type it in, and then you're going to click find website weak spots. You're going to find these businesses that have problems with their site. You're going to check out what kind of phone number do they have. And you're going to find an example where somebody has a mobile contact that you could be able to reach out to. And of course, it's not showing right now, but here's a mobile number, right? You're going to find that perfect business effortlessly and easily, that perfect to call. And then you're going to have to call them. And then guess what? They're probably not going to say yes. They're probably not even going to answer the phone, right? And then you're going to need to call again and again, right? And you need to understand that just placing these calls, that your first 100 calls, your first 500 calls will be nothing like your 5,000th call, okay? And so this is about volume, right? And if you're able to 1 in 60, this is just an extreme example, not even that extreme at all, but 1 in 60 of these people book an appointment with you, and then you're closing 1 in 4 of these deals, that means you're going to have to make 240 calls to close one deal. And those 240 calls might take you 4 or 5 hours, but then you're selling a website for $1,500. But with that example I just said, at a 25% conversion rate, 1 in 60 calls, whether they answer the phone or not, you're looking at a minimum of 250 calls. And I'm just trying to set expectations clearly, right? And if you could close a website every day, that'd be great. So all you need to do is make the calls. That's all you need to do. Just make the calls. And if you watch this video and you think it's a great idea and you don't make the calls, that's totally on you. And if you make the calls and you're having success, subscribe to the video. Yep, subscribe to the channel. Check out more about TaskBlink and how we book meetings on autopilot. And yeah, that's really it. Drop a comment as well if you got value out of this. And if you have questions, if you think this is all bullshit, let me know.